Hi, today we are going to cover a very dark planet. It is a dwarf planet and is miles away from the sun, from the earth, and it is considered that Pluto is a outer planet. Um, Pluto keeps on transiting through each sign, and the orbit of Pluto is very different. Okay. It is the lord of underworld. It is the lord of death and rebirth. And what excites me about Pluto and what excites me to talk about its experience in my transit chart is that what impact a generational planet or a planet which covers the whole zodiac sign and takes 248 years to complete the entire zodiac. Uh, it is a once in a lifetime event for each one of us that the planet is transiting to certain house which with an intention that we will improve in that department of our life or create a strong impact about something. Okay, it could be in any department of our life. uh, Pluto, I will be covering the transit from 2008 because that's when I trying to remember things. I'm trying to just go past and just see what changes happened and dabble into it. uh, but this is just an experience of having Pluto in the first house, transiting Pluto in the first house. Just for your information, I am from the Pluto and Sagittarius generation, and speaking about tarot, we know that the death card represents plutonic energy. Pluto is a planet which has certain energy which can disrupt, it can devastate, but it also holds an opportunity. It renders you the opportunity to rise like a phoenix from the ashes. It is dark and it is gloomy sometimes. It's like it's hiding somewhere. The god is hiding somewhere. He loves to be a loner, he loves to be on his own. He is very manipulative sometimes. He has his own ways of doing things, and he is very wealthy, and there will be lots of revamping happening when it is transiting your first house. I also feel like in tarot, the judgment card also represents plutonic energy a bit. Um, in fact, more because it's like a resurrection, it's like regeneration, and Pluto is more of a regeneration. Like something is oozing out of the earth, and because it is purging so much that it is detoxing itself and renewing itself, and this what happens in the chart. As Pluto was transiting through Capricorn, we saw that lots of aspects globally which were happening. There was some liberation in sense of structures. I'm not a professional astrologer, this is just my basic experience, so I'm not here to tell you like what to do. If you have a Pluto transiting your first house, make sure you show your chart to a professional astrologer. Okay, but let's start from the year 2008 when Pluto was in Capricorn, of course, and it was squaring my Mars. All right, and there I remember that I was just getting done with my pre-primary school and I was entering into my high school, and I was a very competitive and very aggressive child. Like I used to play a lot of sports, and I remember getting very irritated on little stuff. I had a very good energy at that point of time, where I was just like I just wanted to get it out there, do something more. That's what I remember more of. I was into a fighting mode all the time, but as you know, Mars is retrograde in my chart. I used to just bottle it all up in my head, and later on, eventually, as those aspects came around, as I grew, as I grew as a person, it definitely changed me. Pluto transiting your first house is no joke. You will change for sure. And this transit is covering my teenage and half of my adulthood here, and it's definitely empowering. Okay. Um, then what I want to talk about is the Saturn square Pluto. Okay, I remember whenever Saturn got squared with Pluto, or there was a Sun square Pluto in the later years. I'll come back to it later. I was kind of reworking my structure. I was reworking through my routine, reworking the structures, because I was going from pre-primary to my high school, and so many things were changing for me, uh, like the logistics, like the way of going to school, how the things work, and beyond that, the learning process, and yeah, just learning, believing in teachers. And I also feel like at that time I had a feeling where I was not able to push myself more into. I was much of I was getting whatever I was getting a bit later. Like there were lots of delays, and I feel like at that point of time people around me didn't understood me, my needs were. So something like that happened. I also want to talk about Pluto aspecting, Pluto squaring my north node. So the first year there were lots of squares. Squares are generally where you need to improve a lot. It will just give you an opportunity where you can grow for sure. And as a teenager at that point of time, um, choosing, chasing what brings me joy, what is my belief, what are my liberating thoughts, they were all activated. Those placements were all activated, and now I feel like, oh, whatever I did at that point of time, what beliefs I had about pop culture, or maybe my passion right now, what I do currently in my career, like I'm into advertising, strategy, content, internet, and stuff like that. I was already on a track of chasing my North Node, which is your purpose. And I feel like Pluto squaring North Node at that point of time taught me about, what is going to be ahead. But at that time, I just didn't, I didn't know what is going to happen. But uh, I still remember diving deep into everything, whatever I used to do at that point of time, whatever was piquing my interest, and doing lots of physical activity, and stuff like that. um I now want to talk about 2009, where Venus was opposing my Pluto in my chart. I feel at that point of time, it was okay. Venus is all about, you know nature, beauty, love, romance, and all. I feel like, it were the tasting times, and it was something where I was very excited about everything romantic, but something was stopping. Something was creating opposition, interference. But there was definitely that erotic energy, as I was also, getting older. There were hormonal things happening, and this just accelerated everything in me. Like, I remember at that point of time, I have hirsutism, okay, so my body definitely changed. But at that point of time, I was so, I was so, into why there are so many hairs, what the hell is happening with my body and all. And I feel like I was not that much sure and had self-esteem at that point of time, like a teenager, like oily skin. There were lots of things happening with my body, right? So I feel like at that point during this square when it happened and Pluto tried to my lid, it just shook up my foundation, where I just had one option to just be my own self and have that confidence in me, have that confidence in me. um there was certain pressure from people on me during that time, so it is not easy. But if you don't have any option than to keep rolling through that energy, and your moods will get affected, you will overreact when this trine with Lilith and Venus opposition Pluto is happening. You will have certain jealousy as well. Okay. um then I want to talk about Pluto conjunction with my ascendant. Okay, of course it was in my first house, but at that time, which was during 2010, I remember I had variety of interest, and so far I have that quality ingrained in me. I have so many interests, and like there is that energy where I have knowledge about everything, a bit about everything at least. So it definitely increased my curiosity. It definitely made me fall in love with black color as well. There was a phase in my life where I had all the clothes which were black. I will come back to it later. But I remember during 2010, while I was doing my NCC and stuff, there were lots of military, that kind, shooting gun, doing lots of parades and running and chasing and doing lots of physical activities, going and making the seniors happy, going to the cadet uh, you know, cadet force and 50th battalion and all those different stuff which I don't know it anymore, but I'm very fascinated by army, military, and all those kind of stuff, empowering stuff. At that point, it definitely impacted me, and oh god, the confidence push, the ego boost I got at that point is still there. Okay, it's still there, and that fire won't get mild or something. That wave was something spectacular on its own term. I definitely got to know my deeper interest and desire. It is very likely that during that time I started to watch something erotic or porn. Maybe at that time, it was that time, definitely like a teenager, but definitely connecting with your desires, knowing what you like, and not shutting your interest off. um, that was a part of that transit as well. um, then coming back to 2011 12, Uranus was trining my Pluto. I was in my ninth, I guess. I was in my ninth. I used to play lots of martial arts at that point of time. I discovered lots of talents which I didn't know I had within me. And of course, that time is about exploring and doing stuff. Um, I did a lot of I did some gymnastic kind of a dance movement in one dance form at my school. I used to play martial arts. I had variety of interest. I used to do what not on internet. Oh my god, that time was breakthrough kind of period. I remember 2011 2012. That period was was phenomenal in terms of music as well, which I heard at that point, which was very impactful. uh, and I it was, it was something which was sudden. Like, I had a sudden interest when Uranus was trining my Pluto, is what I remember. When Pluto was trining my Mercury the later year, I was just about to get done with my boards. um I was damn intellectually wise, and in the later years following that, like where I was just gonna begin with my new journey in college, I became a valedictorian as well. So Pluto, Pluto aspecting my Mercury, like trining my Mercury, helped me get the validation, the power of becoming very intellectually grasping all the knowledge, and performing. Okay, performing, being quick to understand things, being quick to grasp things. But one thing is for sure, linguistics improved, Sanskrit, Marathi, English, but I was bad at math. So if we think about, did it help me in doing something logical or mathematical, I would say not. Okay, it just helped me to make things very quickly. It just enhanced my communication, or short trips, uh, travel opportunities, and those kind of stuff. But it also, there was one con, was that there was lots of dual mindset. I happen to be a dual mindset lady already, but it just leveraged that momentum. 2013, Neptune was squaring my Pluto, and I remember, god damn it, I used to dream whatnot. Okay, I used to have dreams. I also felt that I was able to the I was able to grasp people's energy within few seconds. I was very sensitive at that point of time. Uh, During that year, my grandmother passed away, and during that square, which was very hard, it was a time of confusion because I really was not able to find out what I want to do exactly with my career, or those kind of prospects. So there was lots of uncertainty, unconfirmation about everything which I want to do. But that square taught me to depend and to trust my instincts, my intuition, my gut. And at that point, it enhanced, it became very, very known to me that I need to I need to develop that an empathetic feeling, and being very intuitive is what I achieved at that point of time, is what I feel. When Pluto was squaring my Saturn, that was the start of my HSCs, which is the examination, the board examination. And oh god, I love being alone, and maybe this was the aspect which was just pushing the buttons. I was not able to tolerate anybody. I loved my own company pretty much. I used to go to college. I used to be on my own, and I used to just study. And that square with Saturn also triggered my fights with my teachers, as well as later in life with authority figures, as well as my father, whoever the authority were, teachers, anybody who was like telling me like, do this, do this, do this. I was not like, I don't want to agree on it. I I just went through and I did self study. I scored great marks. I was among the few valedictorian in the city in commerce, and it was beautiful. Okay, um, it was a time also about healing and letting go, because just a word year earlier my grandmother passed away, so it was a process to just calm my mind. I don't know how I did it at that point of time, but yes, I did it. When the Pluto square my midheaven was MC, midheaven was happening. Oh, it was phenomenal. I was just getting done with my graduation. My grandpa passed away, and I was figuring out what steps I need to do with my career. So it just reflects that it was all about where I stand in my professional life, which was yet to get started. But I remember I was already interning at an NGO. I was like working as an assistant accountant. So I was just trying to navigate at that point of time with this Pluto square and see what I want to do ahead, where I want to go, what balance I need to bring to my life to, earn and have that status quo. But this also taught me that there is something more than just getting known in public or public knowing you. You have the confidence to start something new, something unconventional as well, and believing the power you owe within yourself is what I feel. And then Pluto was tranning my Mars. I was like a energetic bitch. And these are some qualities which were just enhanced, which I already have with that. With 2019 and 2020, I want to make sure I talk about Pluto square sun, where I was okay. When Pluto is squaring sun, it's like you are looking the ego in the eyes, your ego in the eyes, people around you being egoistic, people triggering your ego, and stuff like that.